Hey, welcome back to Evil's Comics. This is Evil Mike, and this is going to be a review on a comic that was released on August 11, 2021, and then the rest are from Free Comic Book Day, August 14, 2021. I already finished most of the new books that were released last week. This is kind of the last one that I picked up. There's still two out there that I'm missing. But this is Image Comics Silver Coin number 5, and the last official book in this first volume. It was really good. I really liked it. This is the origin story of the silver coin. It starts out in a very early American settlement. It is shown like this man, he is coming into this village. We see this woman. She is kind of like they show her as like she's helping with a birth at first, and then they reveal that she's kind of like a nurse, and later revealed maybe a witch, made like healer or anything. Now they don't say anything about her being bad, that type of witch, because she is like healing and stuff like that. They do show this man right here, and he is later revealed to be a man of the cloth, and he is tracking down any sign of the demon kind of thing. And somebody has hinted, kind of ratted her out from another village, and so he is on the trail of her. We do see her, her friend in the village, and she's like, "Please, my goat, he's hurt, and I need your help." And so she, even though she's tired, she goes in there and helps, and she's like, "Please," and the goat ends up being okay. And the friend asks the witch to commit like a protection spell, which she does. And she cuts her hand open and puts like an omen on the goat's forehead, and then does a little chant, and then tells her that he'll be protected and stuff like that. And she goes off to her village. They do show you that she was able to talk to the goat, and she's able to talk to the bird. Like she's able to talk to animals kind of thing. It's funny because what she was saying about what the goat was saying, and the goat was like, "Please take me, this lady is crazy." And it's more like the lady was just worrisome of the goat, like, hey, she always thinks the goat's sick or worried, or that kind of thing. They show that the let's just say the preacher shows up, and he's talking. He has found the witch's friend, and he starts investigating her and then talking to her, and he's like, "Hey, just tell me what you know about the witch." He was like, "I already know she's a witch," and he was like, "Have you ever seen her do anything like that?" And for a while she doesn't say anything, and then he starts bringing money into the situation. He lays down a coin, and he's like, "Hey, I got more where that came from," and so eventually she does tell him everything that she knows about the witch and stuff like that. And later it is revealed that that's all he needed. He takes it to town. He kind of spits on everybody for being friends with the witch and using her magic, and then goes directly after the witch. It shows that the bird friend kind of takes off to try and warn her, but it is shown right here that it didn't really help. She is still captured by a mob that was built by the preacher. They eventually do the old hog-tie lynching, and then they get her up there, and they have, for some reason, her friend makes it to the front of the line, and she is holding the coin, which they show right here. And the witch sees her friend and realized what had happened, that she was sold out for money, and she puts a curse on the coin, saying that it will bring horrors unimaginable to whoever holds it. They of course hang her, and then he demands the mob to crush her skull and quickly bury her. That something would happen if they didn't do that. The friend is shown going home, and she is crying and sad that she lost her friend, and she goes to see her friend the goat, and the goat all of a sudden can talk, and actually calls her a Judas, and bites the heck out of her hand. Um, we see that she goes home and she is like, man, I made a terrible mistake. We see that that bite is festering and growing into something else. And the preacher man has come back to pay her the rest of the coin. Of course, she has already changed into way something else. She is definitely not having a good day. But she tells him to come back, you know. Eventually, she, you know, later on, maybe hours later, and she gets another knock on the door, and she's really trying to, you know, like, oh no, you keep the coin, I made the mistake, and she goes to open the door, and it was not the preacher at all, it was her friend the goat, which is, he's probably not her, you know, his friend anymore, but he stabs her through the chest, you know, and mad that, you know, she killed her friend, and is left there. The preacher does walk in and finds the coin, finds the irony, and you know, and thinks the whole situation that the coin came back to him. As he's leaving off, all of a sudden his horse is stumbled and, you know, startled, and knocks him off, and there's a whole like slew of ghosts with the witch that he just you know, hung, and they are screaming for retribution, and you know, it's all the women that he has hanged over the years claiming that they were witches, and this one just happened to be a witch, but was she guilty of anything type thing? You know, I mean, all they showed us was she was healing and talking to animals, but you know, I mean, he tries to go run and get back on his horse. Of course, you know, the horse and the coin, you know, they have a way of, yeah, and he gets his block knocked off, and we see that the coin kind of stumbles off. It is, you know, kind of a lure that, you know, the coin has a way of finding, it needs to feed, and we go off to who finds it next, maybe years later, and it's found by a little boy that's playing, you know, near a creek or something like that. Mr. Michael Walsh at the end tells readers that the book did well enough that they are going to continue it in an ongoing series, which I am thrilled because I love the first 5 issues. It had a couple issues that were okay, but for the majority overall, I love the you know, especially the silver coin, haunted object, something like that. The next episode has me real nuts because it is going to be set in the 80s with arcades, and is about a kid that you know, he kind of sucks at games and he wants to get better, and all of a sudden he starts playing with the coin, and now I can't lose, something like that. So all these are from Free Comic Book Day. A big one for most people is Boom Studios, Enter the House of Slaughter. And a very quick read, but actually a really good read. I kind of like this more than the regular Something is Killing the Children. And it's just basically, it's more of what's been going on. Like this whole, like the first 3 pages was like a telephone conversations that Eric has been having with her friend back at the House of Slaughter. And it's kind of like we get to see the other side of those conversations when Erica was answering that phone. They do show some other stuff, you know. Mr. Tinian likes to use his text, and actually in this book it was done perfectly. Every little text and script that he had in here was nicely done. But it's basically going more into the, you know, the whole House of Slaughter and a different mask, and Papa Slaughter and that kind of thing. How Erica got out of jail. But a lot of this is just like the backstory and like everything that was going on. We do get like at the very end, I would say like the main, you know, what this is going to be. And it is called Enter the House of Slaughter, kind of meaning that they're kind of taking over where Erica left off, and they show one of the Black Mask, and if I'm not mistaken, that's her friend, but the one that's been calling her. But we do see that he has been tasked to bring Erica back to the House of Slaughter, that he needs to kill that monster that she has and not the monster. She finds out that monster was a mother, and now it has children out there, and they have to kill the children monster quickly, or they will grow and become something a lot worse. But he is basically is tasked to go kill all those little monsters and bring Erica back. And he even states that she probably will not come back. And the House of Slaughter doesn't care. That is his task, and he needs to perform it. If he fails, it is up to him. Overall, it was really good. It was a quick read, but man, it was actually real meaty and good. Not a lot of action, just but a lot of the back stuff that's been going on, and the way he played it in was really nice. Next up, Suicide Squad King Shark Special Edition with the preview to the Suicide Squad Get Joker. A real quick read, but it's kind of been it's set up in the Suicide Squad book that's going on, and it's basically what Nananu, however you say King Shark's real name, but it's basically what King Shark has been what he's been doing during the Suicide Squad. And basically he's just been stuck back at Belle Reve. They show that they go into this, she is a Nightwing villain. I'm not big on names, I suck at names, but her name is Defacer, and all she does is she graffitis, and that's her special power. So I mean, she's not really fit to be in the Suicide Squad. She's even made fun of here, by the other villains and stuff like that, specifically this hothead villain. For some reason, King Shark takes a liking to her and tries to help her out, and she's kind of weirded out by him, and she leaves and everything, and we kind of see that King Shark gets upset, like right here, that she didn't want to be friends with him at first, because he was really just trying to help her and stuff, trying to warn her and that kind of thing. We do see that she goes to the bathroom trying to get away from King Shark, and the hothead, bad guy, mini villain, tries to go after her, and kind of meets her doom in doing so, because King Shark really likes this Defacer girl. And basically, they just, after that, Defacer gets, of course, the prison, goes on high alert because King Shark just killed one of the other, inmates. He is on a no-kill diet while he's in the prison by Waller restrictions. And it kind of explains the whole, why King Shark has always been with the Suicide Squad and how he gets away with doing stuff. And Waller kind of explains that he doesn't have a bomb in his neck. He never had one. They've never figured out how to put the bomb inside and all. So, and she explains that that's a secret that not even Peacekeeper or any of the other current members know, that he doesn't have the bomb. But she says that he has a deal with his father, the King Shark, I guess you would say. But and he has many names supposedly, but the King Shark, his father, has a deal with Waller, and supposedly, he wants to keep King Shark there to help train and teach him into this better warrior, so he can eventually be the real king that he needs to be. And during the deal, I think he needs to go back home where he's from once a year, and that's the only restrictions that she put on him. So Waller, it's time to go send King Shark back, and knowing that he doesn't have the bomb in his neck, she's afraid to go send him out. So she sets up an escort and notices that this, he's taking a liking to Defacer. So he sends Defacer, in with King Shark, just to keep tabs on her. Defacer's how am I going to keep him in line, kind of thing. But it's not really like that. King Shark really, for some reason, likes this Defacer chick, and he's just, he knows he has to go home. He kind of explains about his dad, and we do see his dad is a super mega great shark. And I forget what, let's see. He said Lord Kachoda, or Camu the cutter of waves, the teeth of the depths, and he who is the shadow above and below, or some of his father's names. But basically his father says that King Shark needs to do this trial to take over the right as the King, and he is kind of fed up with how long it is taking, and tells King Shark that he is not the only one for the running, and he has a female in the lead for the running. It is a human that he has turned into, or got turned into, but it is Orca, the woman whale. And they say her name up here, but and I thought Orca was already there. Didn't she just didn't she just fight Punchline recently in jail? I don't know. But the rest of it is a like sneak preview on the Suicide Squad Get Joker, and it's just a, hey, I'm the Red Hood, and this is who I used to be. I do love a bunch of the art, like the Killing Joke scene right here, and some of his classic Batman and Robin moments, like, hey, I'm the second Robin, you might not remember me because I died, and then I came back with a hood on my face so you couldn't see me. No, but it's basically like a retelling of Red Hood and what he went through and how he finally became Red Hood, and basically that he got caught for all his crimes because he was one of those heroes that tend to kill. So in the story he does get caught and he goes to jail. They show that basically like Penguin and a bunch of other people try taking him out. And he just basically, he keeps, it's Red Hood, so he keeps taking everybody out, and eventually gets transferred to a more max prison, and is approached by Amanda Waller, who wants him on the Suicide Squad to lead a team of special people, and basically task him to go find the Joker. And that is the little preview on Suicide Squad Get Joker. Next up, Ed Pisker's Red Room, and one that I don't have to warn about. There was no graphic violence in this, or nudity or anything like that. There are graphic scenes per se due to how some of the characters look, but this was, maybe he knew it was going to be, it is a free comic book day, so he kind of figured maybe kids might pick it up, and it was kind of better not, leave some of that out. But actually this was really badass. To have the whole story of Red Room, technically you have to have this, because it's like 4 or 5 different stories that take place outside of what they've given us in issues 1, 2, and 3. The first story is following I forget his name, but he is one of the Red Room personas, and he showed up in the first issue, and he was mailed in this U-Haul in a coffin with no explanation on why he was being mailed in, but they go more into how he was mailed in the U-Haul, and so that was really cool because they go really deep into his story, like what he was doing right before there, how he gets all mad and aggravated that they are picking him up. Next up was they goes into issue 2 with Poker Face and Poker, and this is more, it does this little thing where it shows what's going on, but at the bottom it shows the actual user that was watching the Red Room. So for instance, this one was like a rich businesswoman or something like that kind of was curious about the Red Room, and it's like shows her reaction. This other guy is like a fanatic of Red Room who's afraid to get caught, and so he's downloading everything. This other guy is like I forget what he is, some kind of businessman, and he really loves the Red Room. And they show this other guy, it's a cop who was like the FBI member who was tasked to find the Red Room, and eventually he got too into it, so they took him off the case, and now he is just addicted to the Red Room. And finally it's like they show like even the president, and it's funny because he drew it as the likeness of Clinton, but it showed that even the president and the prime minister was into the Red Room and paying some high dollars, because he put down like $5,000 something dollars. Well, it's like, I think it's $15,000 just to watch, and then he was like, he was bidding. And then they do these whole this section, which I thought it was just a bunch of random ads, but it's not. It goes directly into the third the current issue of Red Room, and it's basically about the hacker that kind of started where Red Room came from, the algorithm that he created on the dark web, and the Red Room now uses that algorithm. But it's about the hacker that went to jail and stuff like that, and done in these little like clips and ads and stuff like this. It tells this hacker's whole little story on, you know, like before he went to jail, and when he went to jail, and his whole trials, and all the way up until that issue right here where we saw him, you know, get out, and he was free, and now he's tasked on going to find the Red Room. The last one, Donna Butcher's Legacy of Brutality, shown right here in this amazing, but basically this is, they kind of set it up that that's the symbol of Red Room. So if you ever see that mask, that's what it represents, because right here, they show you a big center. But these are all like wannabes that tried to do the Red Room, kind of like TikTok-ish style or YouTube style, and one way or another they all got caught or got themselves caught, and it's just kind of a little funny. Like one of them like was doing the Red Room thing, and her mask fell off, so she got caught. Another one died while filming, you know. Little stuff like that. They also do this, like, you know, survivor, like people that have survived being kidnapped or whatnot from the Red Room. But it tells us at the bottom that this is going to be issue 4 of the Red Room. And this story right here, man, was like the best story in the book, and it's called Juniper. And it's about these little kids that find this like zombie girl. And it's amazing because it was in color, and the zombie Juniper is actually black and white the whole time. But it's just basically these little boys and the sister, and they find this zombie, and it's like their whole like what they were gonna do with the zombie, and how they were gonna keep her safe and stuff like that. And supposedly she is one of the like victims that escaped from the Red Room. That's how it ties in, because where they find her in is they show that in the first issue. But it's basically the kids are like, you know, because they think she's a zombie, they don't know, but they kind of go into this, you know, where they come up with costumes so they can take her out in public, and they eventually get bullied by these other little kids, and Juniper ends up attacking the bully. Later on, the bully ends up like coming after them while they're all sleeping, and actually tries to kill the little kids while they're sleeping, because it's an older kid. I think he was like in 18 or something, and these are like, you know, middle school kids or something like that, elementary kids. But the bullies actually like sneak into their house while they're sleeping, and Juniper actually kills the main bully, and I mean, it's never shown what happens to the second bully. But eventually their stepdad Rick wakes up, and you know, he's got a gun and everything, goes down there to find Juniper chomping on the bully's you know, nice noggin and everything. And then Juniper jumps at Rick, and one of the dads is kind of, you know, one of the boys is kind of happy because he wasn't a big fan of stepdad Rick. And eventually they have to knock out poor little Juniper because she starts eating on stepdad Rick. It kind of looks like stepdad Rick didn't make it, but they basically, at the end of it, they knock her out, and they put her in this wagon. They don't want to take her to the cops because they're afraid she'll be experimented on, but at the same time they can't just take her anywhere, so they take her to the woods. And they also say that, like, and throughout the book, she has been eating. She's been like eating like anything she can grab, like squirrels and birds, so they're not afraid she's gonna starve. But at the end, they do show the scene where like this hunter walks up, and you know, and he sees the zombie girl, and he's like, "Hey, I can help you," you know, and she's been saying her name. That's all she can say is Juniper. And he hears the Juniper, and he's like, "Oh, Juniper, I've been looking for you for years," you know. Hey, it was actually a really great and funny but ironically sad, I guess you could say. But man, what a great free comic book, you know. Last but not least, the most, I will say this, like, there was a book that was tied for first, but this was definitely the one of the books that was tied for first that I was going for. But Stray Dogs, and I think that's just all it's called. No zero, no number one, but it is basically a prequel. It is the prologue, Doggy in the Window. which is the first story, and the second half is the first issue of Stray Dogs. So for some reason you missed the first issue, well, here you go. You got the first issue right here. And you got a little prologue that we didn't get when it dropped. And basically it's just telling the very first story of our stalker, serial killer, murder man and his first rescue puppy. He sees this puppy he likes. He notices this girl. Kind of meets her at the park. Says hi to her in person. They show him right here all shadowy. Talks to her, is all friendly and stuff. They show his casual MO. He goes up, he takes the photo of the dog, drives off, comes back another day, and they just, everything goes black, and they show the new puppy just going home with the man, not the woman, and that's basically it. Fritz the puppy, he makes it home with the murder man. And then that's basically it. There's not a lot into it. And then the rest of the book is Good Girl, which is the first issue of Stray Dogs. But it was a really good read, and especially a great way to pick up the first issue if you missed out without having to fork over the trade, for the trade paperback that's coming, just in case you don't like it, I loved it. It was one of the best indies that have come out recently. But yeah, those are my reviews on those comics. So I'm going to actually get back to reading some more. Y'all have a great day. I hope everybody had a free comic book day. Hope everybody passed on some free comic book day. I did. I think I got rid of like 7 of the comics I got just to hopefully get some more people in the comic books. But alright, that's all I got. Like, comment, share, subscribe. I'll see y'all later. Evil out.